Hey everybody, welcome to the workshop. On today's episode is going to be an unboxing. I got a new tool in the shop and it's a wood lathe from Jet, and it's going to be replacing, well, not really replacing, but it's going to be added to the mix here. I've got a Turncrafter Commander wood lathe that I got from pennstateind, and so far it's been working okay. If you're looking to get into turning, especially turning small things like pens, and you're not looking to get into big things like bowls, then this right here can be a good starter lathe. It's about $550-ish, more if you want to get the ones where it's actually got extra things with it. So it could be a good place to start. However, I've had some things that I don't like about it as well, like the headstock wants to move, the tailstock is not as rigid as I would like it to be. When it comes to cranking the handle and getting it tightened down, I've actually had the tightening knob down here to come out of the slot. Probably one of my biggest complaints about it has been the tool rest. This tool rest does not like to slide back and forth really well. Now I could probably take it off, file it, and lube it up and probably get it to work a little bit better, but I've been wanting to upgrade, and so I'm using all these little things as an excuse to get a new tool. I mean, who doesn't like getting new tools? They're fun. So I don't plan on getting rid of this lathe. I'm planning on using this one for part of the project, say like putting finishes on and buffing, and then I'm going to use the new one for the actual turning portion. So if this is something that you're interested in and you want to see the new Jet 1221 lathe, then stick around. Today on Adam's Workshop. All right, everybody. Now that we've got the lathe up on the table here, now we can take a quick look at it and see what we have, and I'm going to compare it to the old lathe, the Turncrafter Commander. I had to look at it. So far, the only thing I've done to it is I have cleaned up the ways, and then I also sprayed them down with some WD-40 dry lube to keep everything from rusting and keep it clean and all. So my first impression of this lathe is it seems to be pretty well made, definitely better made than the other one. Now, let's be fair, the other one is almost half the price of this one. So it doesn't mean that the old lathe is bad, it just it's a good starter lathe. So if it's something that you have been considering doing and you want to get into it, but you don't want to spend $1,000 on this machine, then that could be a good way for you to go to learn and then be able to upgrade like I just did in the future. So some of the things that I see on this machine that I like are, number one, is the tailstock. One of the complaints that I had before on the other machine is the spindle on the inside of it here, which when I go to tighten the nut on the back of it here to lock it down, if I unscrew it just a little too far, then the whole thing can actually twist on me, and that's not good. And so this one right here doesn't seem to have that problem. It screws in and out very nicely, and I really like it. It makes it feel much nicer, much better, much more solid. And that's something that is nice too when it comes to putting your piece in, because you want these 2 points to be lined up with each other and to stay lined up. And when you have something that can twist or flex, then now when you put your pin mandrel on here, now you're causing the pin mandrel to have a warp in it, and that can cause quality issues with your turning. So far, now mind you, I have not gotten to actually turn anything yet. These are just my first impressions. And by the way, I did buy this with my own money, so hashtag not sponsored. So far, it's quite nice. And I'm liking it. It runs back and forth very smooth. I'm having almost no play. There is an ever so slight amount, but you don't want it so tight that you can't move it back and forth. The knob for tightening it down takes very little to do, and the sucker is nice and solid. So far with the tailstock, I believe that's going to be a nice quality of life upgrade with this right here. Next, and probably one of the most important things for me personally, is the tool post or the tool rest. This right here on my old one does not work very well. You're supposed to be able to loosen up the knob and then be able to move it back and forth, side to side, all around, nice and smoothly. My other one, it'll push backwards or side to side, but when I go to push it towards me, it hangs up and does not want to move, and I've got to get quite violent with it in order to get this thing to push forward. So one of the things I wanted with this was in hopes that it would be much better. And as you can see, this thing moves nice and smooth. And so I believe this is going to be a much needed improvement that so far I'm very happy with. I can lock it down. It's not going anywhere. So quite happy with this one. Now, one other thing that I did notice is this one uses the 5/8 size on the tool post holder, where on the Turncrafter it's the 1 inch. So be mindful of that. Coming up to the headstock, another thing that I'm very happy with is with the design of this one, it actually gives me a little bit more room, because on my Turncrafter you've got the headstock with the DRO on here, and then you've got the belts out to the side of it, and so it makes the headstock wider, which gives you just a little bit less space center to center. This one, you have just a little bit more. That is nice. Now, I'm not looking to turn huge material, which is why I've got a bench stop, but it's still nice to have that little bit of extra. One thing that I have found while doing my research is the headstock shaft. Some of these have a tendency to be bent. Luckily for me, mine doesn't seem to be bent. So very, very happy with that. So you've got here on the back side of it, which I will get you a picture of, the clamp or the detent that you push in. So then you take an Allen head, and there's 2 set screws here that you loosen up, and then you can take one of your tools that it comes with, this wrench, put it on here, and then you can actually get this faceplate loosened up. So that's what your first tool is for. So far, no problems with that. I've already taken it off. The thread looks good. It screws on and off nice and easy, so faceplate is good on it. One thing I do like is The cover here is plastic, but it actually has two magnets in here that actually help hold it down, which is very nice. There's not much to look at inside of here. You've got 3 positions for your belt. You've got a high, medium, and low setting. So, which is this lever right here. There's another handle up underneath here that you loosen up, and then you pull this up to release tension on it, and then you can move it over. There's also another one on this side over here, which this little door also has a magnet to help keep it closed, which sometimes it's the little things. My old one doesn't have that. The door on the side is just flopping around. So far, very happy with it. This one also has something that I don't have on my other, and that is a forward and reverse. My other one just has forward only. So far, everything looks good. When I turn it on, turn it up, I don't seem to be having any kind of vibration to it. Everything, even though I'm on a less than ideal surface, this workbench is actually on rollers, but this thing still feels quite stable. It doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of vibration, looseness to it. You can see that the headstock is turning very nicely. It's not wobbling around. Because yes, I've had one to do that. My very first lathe that I ever bought, the headstock was bent on, or the headstock shaft rather, was bent on it. So this one being not bent is a good thing. So first impressions, this is a good machine, and I'm really looking forward to taking this thing out and run it through its paces. If for some reason I find something that is very wrong, breaks too soon, something, I will report back later. But for now, the sucker is looking really good. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe it. If you want to see more videos, I've got another video over here for you to watch. And if you want to learn more about Jesus, click on this video up here. I'll see y'all again next time in the workshop.